When marketing is mentioned, majority relate with tools like billboards, teardrop banners, handbills, and the like. Let's introduce a little twist. Now imagine being in traffic in your vehicle and a random billboard, or in this case LED display panel, talks to you. So that's called a Banter billboard. The Banter billboard is a function powered by artificial intelligence, and it is used by modern-day marketing firms to serve clients. One such marketing firm is Rydlr. Founded by Alan Mwangi and Njoki last year, 2020, the duo combined their skills in tech and business development to be among the pioneers of such marketing skills used in Europe and America.
It kind of started from, okay, the formats that are existing, broadcast media is an extremely expensive sort of operation for people in terms of marketing and even in terms of content, right? Most people are locked out of the value of that because they can't afford it. So if the largest subset of advertisers can advertise on broadcast media is left alone for only the big players. We wanted to democratize that entirely.
So how do they enable the artificial intelligence to work in Banter billboards?
The platform itself is an AI-assisted platform whereby we get to identify vehicles on the road and actually be interactive with the clients or the potential clients who are looking at the screen at the roundabout. Yeah. It actually works under a computer vision model. This is an AI model that basically gets to discover the logo of the vehicle and the color of the vehicle itself. This is basically an approach that I implemented to avoid any biases that came about from identifying the entire vehicle itself.
Is there a market for their service?
The most interesting thing is the largest subset of advertisers is small businesses. The best example I can give you last year was Facebook, the hate for profit situation. A lot of big brands, I think there was over 150 of them that stopped their Facebook ad spend. The amount that affected Facebook was like this. Why would that be the issue? Because as much as they're big budgets that are coming from those guys, they make up 10–15% of the total ad spend globally that Facebook gets in terms of their advertisers. The other 80–90% comes from small businesses like ours.
Then comes the cost element. One would think having such a service would cost an arm and a leg, but then...
With different pricing models based on how much depth the client would want out of this. If at all it gets to a point whereby there is a need for audience measurement performance, because the most troubling thing for many clients right now is determining how many people are looking at my billboard at a specific time, or how many people passed by the billboard and were able to actually face the billboard.
Apart from just marketing, the artificial intelligence and machine learning can be applied in forensics and investigations, sensors, and so many other functions.
The other function that can be used for is interactive out-of-home advertising, whereby a billboard is able to identify somebody by their gender, and based on how close they are to the billboard, it's able to display custom information to that potential client.
And how are they handling competition?
For competition, I think we are a bit adjacent from the players that you just sort of mentioned, because they're actually our clients. So for example, with the Safaricom execution, we did it in partnership with Dentsu, under their poster scope arm, which handles specifically their out-of-home media buying, right? So agencies will also be our customers and our clients, as well as SMEs, as well as big brands directly internally. So there's not, I wouldn't say necessarily there's competition in that aspect. We've just given them an actual added value where they now can create more value for their clients.
In their craft, the question of compliance to data protection laws is a key aspect. Given that the marketing means applies heavy usage of data, many might fear that it is being shared out without their consent. So upholding ethics is key in this craft.
The legal aspect of it is making just sure that we're GDPR compliant. So even after the campaign was done and the case study went out, there were a lot of questions as to, are these guys collecting data on Kenyans? That's the first inclination that anyone who sees something this innovative would ask. And that's not the case. So for that execution, as an example, the billboard acted as a mirror. We were not actually storing any data in that context. You get what I mean? So there's no data actually being held. And on top of that, it wasn't any identifiable data. So yes, I would say the red Toyota, but I wouldn't say it's Brian in the red Toyota, here's his license plate, here's his ID, here's his driver's license.
Finally, augmented reality has been applied in various countries to achieve marketing and other forms of imagery art. What would it take to have that in the country?
A client actually having a problem that makes sense to use that kind of technology, and then just applying it that way. Again, and that's why we say we look at the problem first, because there's so many different ways to and methodologies. Technology is just a methodology.
Yeah.
Right? So start from the base problem and philosophically, what you're trying to actually solve and who for, then start deploying the technology to actually get you to solve your problem and the end goal. So that's where I would say with that. As far as the future of marketing in Kenya, it's approaching it from that standpoint.
For The Innovator this week on KTN News, I'm Brian George Otieno.